All right. Okay, Elise, I will let you take it away.
Okay. Hey, everyone. Good evening. Hope we're all doing okay from the big winter storm. And we all made it through okay, and everyone's safe, getting ready to kind of get back on track. We want to thank you all for joining our first Business Sustainability Collaborative Career Speaker Series of Spring 2026. My name is Elise. I am pursuing my MBA and I am a new student associate with the BSC. So, if you have never joined before, this series is designed for those interested in gaining insight into business sustainability careers and learning from others in the field. And today we are honored to have Manali Jadhav join us. I'm going to just give a quick little overview of Manali, and then she's going to give us a little bit more information about her journey, and then we'll open it up to some questions and more of a conversation. So, Manali Jadhav is currently working as a project leader on the Sustainable Living team at Kohler, Wisconsin, and she lives in Wisconsin. Over the past 2 years, she has been involved in the company's corporate sustainability efforts, focusing on carbon accounting, sustainability reporting, and data analysis for water and waste management across global locations. She holds a Bachelor's of Technology in Computer Engineering from Rajaram Bapu Institute of Technology in Maharashtra, India, and a Master's of Engineering Management from NC State in 2024. After working for 3 years in IT in India, she decided to pursue a more meaningful and interdisciplinary career path. So during her master's program, she explored fields of sustainability, supply chain, data systems, and courses like sustainability in business and strategic operations management. That helped her understand how companies can balance financial, operational, and environmental priorities. And these experiences strengthened her interest at the intersection of business, technology, and environmental impact. Manali was also an active participant in Be Local Triangle in Raleigh and now volunteers through various business resource groups at Kohler. She's connected to her previous schools and programs from her early education to her university communities and stays involved through mentoring, volunteering, and community activities. And she's committed to staying vocal about ESG topics and helping younger students learn about sustainability as a career path. So, with all that said, Manali, I will now give the floor over to you to kind of add on some more additional details and kind of get the conversation rolling.
Thank you so much, Alice, and thank you, Rachel, for having me. I'm really excited to come back. I was just talking that I visited Raleigh a couple times after I graduated, but like coming on this platform and transitioning from like one of the students who used to attend the career speaker series and then being one of them, it's like a full circle movement. So really honored, feels more like a part of Wolf Pack against Go Pack. And thanks again. And thanks for the nice introduction. I was just gonna go through some of that stuff again, like how did I land here? I work at Kohler now, but as Alice mentioned, I did my computer engineering for bachelor's from India, then worked for almost 3.5 years in IT consultancy. I was working for a company who was with consumer packaged goods, and then later on, one of the projects was about automation. We were providing consultancy and software as service to one of the renowned automotive company. And then after doing that for a while, that was most of the COVID time, I had some time to reflect on what do I want to next. And then that led me to getting a master's at NC State. So I enrolled in fall 2022 semester in Masters of Engineering Management, which is part of Industrial and Systems Engineering department at the engineering school. Next year, while I was doing my school, I got this fantastic opportunity to be a research intern at a company called Blue Number. They work for digital rights, then about equity and how workers get their fair share, etc. And that was a really interesting job. I also got to work with a former president of Global Compact at Malaysia, and that was like a golden opportunity to like get a mentorship from him. Around that in the third semester, I actually enrolled in MBA 582. I think most of you are enrolled in there as a student, and I was doing project on the B Corps, and that got me like more interested into like pursuing career not in any of the engineering discipline, but I was like very definite after that that I want to do something in sustainability. It might be a cross-functional job, but it has to be about sustainability. And then an offer came from Kohler for a co-op. So that was my last semester at NC State. I was doing co-op at Kohler. I'll talk more about it because I still work at Kohler now. So that was it. And then after I graduated, I got offer for full-time role at the Kohler too. So I'm still at Kohler, graduated in 2024. So it hard to believe it's almost 2 years. For that, I still remember my graduation as it is. So that was it. Um, I just wanted to like go through a little bit about Kohler. You have been hearing that name since we started this presentation. Some of you might heard it, some of you are not. But Kohler is an manufacturing company. It's privately owned company founded in 1873 by John Michael Kohler, and it's headquartered at Kohler here at Wisconsin. If you don't know, it's a 55 miles away to north from Milwaukee, around like 150 miles north from Chicago. If you have not heard about Milwaukee, I think you have for sure heard about Chicago. And I just live near a nearby town here at Kohler. So Kohler specializes in kitchen and bath products, luxury cabinetry, tiles, lighting. We also have a luxury hospitality business here in US and UK, luxury golf courses, wellness products and experiences. And the one mission at Kohler is to help people live gracious, healthy, and sustainable lives. So I really like that sustainability is integrated into company's mission itself. And the global presence of Kohler is in 30 plus countries. We have a portfolio of 50 plus brands. And then globally, there are more than 29,000 associates. So a little picture showing we are manufacturing everything from sinks to chocolates at hospitality. It's really interesting to work here. Then next, I wanted to talk a little bit about sustainability at Kohler. And I have this little link uploaded here for Kohler's 2024 Global Impact Report. It's a big report, and I have chosen some data points intentionally because that's what is related to my work. But at Kohler, we are committed to reducing our environmental footprint, enhancing the quality of life in communities where we live and work, and of course, helping people live more sustainably. We have strong focus on water. We have a separate water ambition, and we work on preserving access to clean water for everyone. And I have shared some numbers here about the Water Sense product. If you don't know what Water Sense, it's a label you can attach your product. It's a voluntary partnership program sponsored by the EPA. And then you can help label your water efficient products and the resources which help you save the water. Then we have a renewable energy program in 2024. 51% of global operational electricity came from renewable sources. And I also listed some numbers about waste and energy reduction. One of the interesting initiatives we had at Kohler is Waste Lab. We really encourage innovation in what we manufacture from designing of product itself. Waste Lab is one of our most innovative and waste diversion programs. So basically, we turn waste into design. It was established in 2014, and the program focuses on taking landfill-bound material from manufacturing and converting that into functional products. So if you are interested into something like that, go on the website and see. It's really cool. I have seen it with my own eyes, and it's just like magical on what they make from the waste there. And then, last but not least, the topic closer to my heart is about global net greenhouse gases. That's something I have been working on since I was a co-op here. So the metric I have mentioned here is net greenhouse emission intensity. It's basically your amount of greenhouse gases emitted uh, minus any of your removals. If you are like more familiar about scope 1 and scope 2, you will have more idea about it. And then it's basically relative to any of your economic or physical output. It might be number of people in your company or your net profit, etc. So as I said, there was a reason why I focused on numbers from that report, other than more like a overview of sustainability is that's something I work on day to day. So I wanted to just like tell you like, okay, so that's all. It's a big report, but what exactly your job is. So first thing I wanted to mention here is carbon accounting. Again, that's what something I've been doing since my day one here at Kohler, since I was a co-op. So it's basically work about identifying emission sources as we are manufacturing company. There have been lots of usage of fuels, electricity, so we have to just identify all of those sources, then track that data, calculate emissions, and then support the carbon reporting internally and externally. Then I have to partner with cross-functional teams to ensure that we are getting high quality, accurate, and credible sustainability data. So that's part of the job tool, communicating with them and getting the accurate data. Similar to carbon, then I also have to work on tracking and analyzing water and waste data to inform our overall sustainable strategy. Then I also support in creating trainings and guidance so that our associates who are not directly involved in sustainability work will understand how sustainability reporting works and how should they maintain the data, etc. Then I also get the chance to contribute to some decarbonization initiatives. Um, there is a saying we goes around in our team is that what gets measured get managed. So the first step is always measuring the data, but the next step is like managing it, and that's where decarbonization initiatives and the other project which reduce environmental impact comes in the picture. And then basically the part of job is communicate sustainability goals and progress to a number of our facilities across the organization. I work with global facilities, so it's more than almost 300, 400 locations, including everything. So that's part of the job and make sure that all of our teams are informed and aligned with what our goals are as an organization. Um, So that's what I wanted to share about me and Cooler and what I do day to day. So thanks again, and let's see what
Yeah.
questions we have.
Excellent. Thank you so much for the overview. You got to a lot of points that I was hoping you'd cover, such as what Kohler does and what you do in your day to day. So I guess I'll just start us off with a question, and then people can feel free to put their questions in the chat as they arise or raise your hand and speak if you want to. Um, so I'm interested because I see you moved away from a pretty technical engineering background into business and then more specifically sustainability. So what was that experience like going from a pretty STEM heavy major into the world of business, and what overlaps and challenges did you come across?
Yeah. Um, when I reflect on how did I land here today, um, I look back and see that it was always there. So I'll come to engineering, but even before that, both of my parents, all my neighbors were in teaching professions, and there were always people around us. And like none of them like kept their teaching job limited to work, and it was like part of their life. So like always helping people, always trying to solve something in the community around. So I like grew up in that environment. So I feel that it was obvious that I was gonna like become the same person no matter wherever I go. But then I chose engineering, and actually, like one of my active participation started during the engineering. Like I just grew about this environment, but I was like not actively participated. And I have like this pictures I would like to share. So I started my engineering in 2015, 16, and some of our seniors had started this club. So it was an engineering school. There were interdisciplinary people for computer engineering, mechanical engineering, civil engineering. And there was a common trend that the people who took admissions to engineering, they don't care about the social issues. They are not aware about what's happening in society. They only care about graduating with good grades, getting a job with good package, and that's it. So some of these people came together and say that no, some of us actually care, some of us want to work on these things, and they formed a club called RIT Vivek. So RIT is a short form of my engineering school, named as Rajaram Bapu Institute of Technology. beneficiary thing was a school is situated in rural area. It was not in one of the bigger cities of India. So all of us came from similar background, similar economical background or social background, cultural background, and that helped us getting together, talk about the issues happening in the society. So every Thursday at evening, this picture on the right is showing that people are just sitting in circle and then talking. So it started as a discussion forum, but everything other than engineering. So from there, then we started going out in the community around. So doing like cleaning drives maybe, or work on the water projects. Like we had this project where we actually go and then dig lakes so that rainwater is getting conserved. So it was more like voluntary thing. And that photo is from one of the annual meetings. There's a trend going on recently. There's that picture of you from 2016. So this is my picture from 2016 on the left. We were just doing this annual meeting there. And then I was active in this club throughout my engineering. And I think that's where it clicked that this is the work I want to do. And I like to think that engineering is more like a way of thinking. So no matter if you stay in the job or not, but like it's gonna help you on how you look at the problems. It's very disciplined way on your problem solving skills or something related to engineering. You look at them at very analytical way. You want to like you are very detail oriented at problems. Like both of my managers at Kohler are engineers, and it realized me that our team is very data driven. So our sustainable strategy is very data driven because we are this team of engineering people who are like asking questions on why. And then I relayed back this to this forum because the forum was more about rationalism, scientific temperament, asking questions about why and accepting nothing as it is. But later on, I still chose a job which was in IT consultancy. I would say that I continued it because it was COVID. There was a pandemic going on, and nothing was secured. That actually helped me to connect with my alumni again back at the engineering school. One of our alumni, he's actually has joined the call here. He was working with a sustainable supply chain. So they were using blockchain to uh, trace whatever is happening in the cotton value chain and make sure that everyone gets their fair share. And it struck to me that you can still use technical background as a technology because blockchain is very like computer science kind of field, and you can solve something in supply chain, which is like a systems engineering field for sustainability. And then that's how my cycle of thinking started. And then Master of Engineering Management felt like perfect choice because it's systems engineering. I did a specialization in supply chain, and I could attend these courses as Sustainable Operations Management, Sustainability and Business at the Hull School of Management. So my motto always has been business, tech, and sustainability since then. So here am I, corporate sustainability is something like being in the system and then trying to do a good job. We always learned at B Corp like business for good. So I think I get to do that today, and I really enjoy it.
Great, thanks for that. Yeah, it's really insightful to hear how you always kind of had that inspiration in the back of your mind, and now you're actually able to put it to work and see the impacts of that. If anyone has any questions that they want to come off mute to ask, now could be a good time. Otherwise, I have some more that we can go off of. So I will say that's a no, but please feel free to, think of anything. This is a nice casual place to kind of toss some ideas around and get some insight. So I guess moving beyond your technical knowledge, I know the Masters of Engineering Management was probably rather technical in its own ways. There's a lot of talk about soft skills and people skills that you need to enter into the workforce and be able to hold your own basically in a business standpoint. So, what would you say that your top three or top two soft skills are that you found the most crucial for success when kind of navigating these different departments on sustainability?
Yes. I have a slide for that. That's like my motto. I have a slide
Great.
for everything.
This is working out wonderfully.
Yes. So these are like some of the courses I took at engineering management. Two of them I mentioned, but I took courses in data, project management. One of my other favorite courses was engineering leadership and strategic change. And somehow, fortunately, we were talking about sustainability in that course too. So it just like worked out for me. But then this table takes out the skills those were integrated into those courses. Like leadership was obvious one, and I have communication in the middle of that because I feel that that's the important skill to have while working in sustainability. Because we are going through like more like awareness area. Sustainability is not very established field, excuse me. It's still considered as a niche one. So being vocal about it, even in your own company, communicating with other departments on how this is important for your organization, your department, how it's gonna benefit if you work with us, and constantly communicating that always helps. So like communication is like my number one. The second one is like continuous learning or adaptation, because organizations continuously evolve, the other departments evolve, and we know that sustainability is continuously evolving. There have been regulations coming and going, laws coming and going. You have to be compliant at a point, you have to not, and then adapting your strategy and adapting your thinking to that. Like there's AI, generative AI coming in all the fields and in the field of sustainability too. So being adaptable to that is also important. So that's number two. And I think third one is just collaboration, relationship building. I feel like one thing helps me to do my work is just being authentic about how much I care about these topics and building relationships through that across the organization and just work in collaboration. Works because sometimes communication is not enough. You just have to be like work as a team. So I would just say like those were the top three, and then we have some more on the screen, I think, uh, which are the good ones to have.
Yeah, I see the classes that you listed there. Were there any that really stood out that you think was a turning point for you? I guess since we're NC State students, potentially going down a similar track, do any of these courses really stick out?
If I like, this is not about like number one favorite, number two favorite. I would just like go through from my semester one to four. So of course, as I said, engineering leadership and strategic change. I have been honest about this to my professor too. I took the course. I thought it's a easy one because I have all these technical courses, and this
Right.
is a for sure A plus one. And it happened that I was more involved in that course than my other three technical ones, because it was just more about like how to get um, accustomed to like US way of working. I think it helped me really uh, good to like, because I was new to the country. Had just moved here to just like um, learn the way of workings in the university, in the corporate world. And then as I said, like somehow we just also ended up talking about sustainability in that one. Because if you have been to Fitzwaller Hall at NC State, on the walls of the every floor, you will see the 14 sustainability principles. And we had a one session with Dean of Engineering at that time on this principles and why they decided to have those on the walls of Fitzwaller, which is one of the like fanciest building on our campus. um, and then again, it was just like constantly challenging me on who am I as a person. So that was for semester one. Then I did ops management. That course was MBA, I think 546, yes. It was based on the case studies, and I think it taught me. about like good balance or like trade-offs between decisions owners make for their companies versus sustainability. Like there are always trades off between profits and sustainability and profits and people. So that was my favorite course of that semester. And of course, in the third one, 5 to 2 working with B Corp, learning about B Corp. And then part of course was like learning about some other frameworks. So for someone who is not from sustainability background, having all of this information as like a base was really great.
Awesome, thanks. I'm going to assume people still don't have any questions that they're wanting to bring up right now. And if I'm wrong, please just come off of mute whenever you want or type it in the chat. But I kind of want to go back to that point that you said about sustainability still being kind of niche and needing to explain it to other people that aren't necessarily in the field. What have been some of the largest challenges that you've experienced with this, with maybe needing to recite yourself or say the same thing over and over again, kind of to get your point across? What are some of the challenges that you see, and how do you and your team overcome them?
As I said, like for any of the business, the main motto is doing the business. So sustainability sometimes kind of gets blindsided. Just talking about in general, like industry trained. I've been like fortunate one where sustainability is like integrated into our mission, but then general industry trained is like that. So just like explaining the importance of that, sometimes you have to take help of like we have the regulation or we have to be compliant, especially for companies who are public companies. They have to go through all of that process. They have to like publish their goals and their progress, and they have to like stay committed to that. And I feel like the sustainability teams in those companies might have that issue that like the other people are just not aware about these regulations. So you have to like take support of like these facts that this is something we have to like we must have to do kind of. And then in general, like our team has been working on uh, carbon, water, waste, stewardship activities. Then we have this water industry program. Uh, there is a separate water ambition. So there is like so much going on. And I think from the people outside, it's not very common to have like sustainability into all these fields. Um, we also work on like designing products from sustainable point of view. So it comes like integration with engineering. So as I said, like just communicating with everyone is really important. But then when I talk to like people outside my organization, my friends, my families, it gets really hard to explain like what I do day to day. Still felt comfortable sharing that slide and explaining that because I'm like, oh, these people are from sustainability background. They have heard this word, but I think from other people's point of view, it's more like we call it a corporate sustainable responsibility, CSR activities, and sustainability is limited to that, but it's not.
Right, and corporate responsible sustainability is way larger than specifically what you work on. So I'd imagine that would be sometimes a challenge.
Yes.
Um, so I'm curious about maybe a specific time in your job. I know you've been at Kohler for a few years now. Was there a specific time that comes to mind, maybe that you were able to spearhead a change or really make a lasting impact? What did that look like? How did your team react? And what is it? Can you give us an idea of what success kind of looks like in your role, or maybe what you've learned from role models or upper management?
Yeah, as I said, I think I have been fortunate enough to have like a very big sustainability team, and people in the team are really passionate about it. So uh, nothing as like a big moment where it was a challenge. Like my job is related to data, so it's more about continuous improvement. I like to think about it more like from a lean kind of perspective that every year you just uh, do better, and then that's the success. Like you're satisfied with what you did today. And I think it's like personally for me, uh, it's just like, yeah, that's the success.
Nice. And then I guess like given the um atmosphere around sustainability and climate change and those kind of terminologies, especially in the United States compared to maybe India or other parts of Europe. Um, there's it's almost politicized and there's different opinions. So how do you personally maintain a sense of optimism and purpose in your work, knowing that there's different opinions across the board? And what message would you give to younger people or the rising generations that want to dedicate their careers to sustainability to continue down this path?
Yes. Uh, for like first part of your question, I would say that because there was not much sustainability background for me coming from India, I came with like a more like a clean slate to United States. So I think
Mhm.
that was helpful for me that I just learned everything as a new, and then starting looking back how all of this relates to like uh, my country, to like India. And like other part of my job is because it's global, it helps to like stay top of like everything and understand like what's going on each region of the world. So not has been very challenging, just keeping eyes on the news, what's happening, how the policies are changing. Um, I felt that since I have, maybe it's because I started this field and started paying more attention, but since I have been here, sustainability field is growing more in India, especially. I have been seeing lots of movement in the area of like carbon marketing, for example, and there have been more startups. So that's something as like a positive change. I had to come to this country and like do my master's because I could not find more opportunities to get some specialization degree in sustainability. That's been changing now. There were limited options before, and now sustainability subjects are getting integrated into like your other courses, maybe as like part of the MBAs or the law schools. Those have been part of like some of the subjects of mechanical engineering, and that's very optimistic change. Um, for me personally, I've been like so aware about this fact that it's not really possible for one individual to change the world completely or save the world. But after working for a job which was I'm not like very fond of, now I just feel joyful after finishing my day, my tasks. So it's more like I'm doing this for myself, that this is a part of my work. This is like my legacy on this job. Like we have climate change issue, and I'm doing my part of to like solve that problem. And I'm fully aware that I'm not going to like remove the issue of climate change completely. So I think I do not need like separate motivation, I would say, because I'm doing it for myself. And if human being that's something very selfishly, they don't really need motivation. That's what I say. Uh, then I'm also interested in like studies about like consumer behavior. uh, my first project in India was about consumer packaged goods, so something I got interested into that, like sustainable supply chains. And I know Generation Z Alpha gets criticized for lots of things, but I think from sustainable point of view, I feel very positive when I look at them because they have been very vocal about ESG topics. I see them integrating that into their day-to-day life. They will say no to plastic and then just do that. They will encourage their parents and friends to do the same. The one of my favorite example is about thrifting. someone as a millennial, I didn't really know that concept. And then I got to know that Gen Z is very vocal and they really like to do concept of thrifting. And we know that West coming from fashion industry is like one of the biggest sustainability issue. And they have been working on that. And they are not like hiding it. They will tell the parents that this is the best way of buying the clothes. It's cheaper, it's sustainable. Um, and then the reports and studies show that Gen Z is someone who will choose sustainable products. If you have even a catalog with number of products, someone has sustainable attribute, they will go ahead and choose sustainable products, even though they are a little bit higher for the cost. So I think this generation makes me optimistic.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I do think that the younger growing generation is a little bit more aware. And I know myself personally, I feel good when I am reusing clothes or giving clothes to a friend. And so it might be that like collective consciousness type of idea spreading out. But we want to see businesses reflect that and also take that initiative. Um, so this is all inspiring, and I'm wondering if there's like an emerging technology or trend. I mean, obviously AI is prevalent, but if there's anything else or AI that you're excited about right now that's entering your field, and how you personally are taking advantage of that, and how your company might be preparing to integrate that into workflow and operations.
Yeah. Uh, Not really talking about Kohler, but I think personally, I haven't really explored the field of generative AI into sustainability. I know companies use software as a service now to do
Mhm.
their carbon, water, waste inventories. I think AI has been big into scope three, which are indirect emissions coming from downstream and upstream supply chains, if someone is not familiar with that. But in that case, AI has been helping. As I said, my journey started with blockchain into supply chain. And then my internship at Blue Number was kind of based on the similar technology of using technology to make sure that workers' voice has been heard. They have their data rights. Their data is like not getting sold or like used without their consent. Um, so I kind of like left the field of computer science behind me, but uh, these technologies excites me, I guess.
Does anybody have any other questions? Oh, great. Here's one. Okay, so from Alejandro, they say, based on your experience, how have you seen sustainability develop over time? And how do you see sustainability evolving over the next 3 to 5 years?
Okay, great question. I actually like brought something. I really like that slide. I also used it for one of my presentations. And like before we talk about next 3 to 5 years, I think it's just something about why sustainability has been important for businesses. And then we know that initially the business was about just bartering, like you give me something, I give you something, and that's the trade-off. Then we invented currency, and it was about you give me something, and I pay you with money, and it was more because of the industrialization, mass production. So, like, it was not one product value to another product. Now we had different currencies to evaluate. As we go more towards 20th century, it expanded beyond the monetary value. Now it was more about um, authenticity, brand loyalty, how much quality I get if I pay for something. And it was more on like focusing on intangible factors. It was just not about money. It was relationship with brands. And I think some of the major brands we use now, that branding concept of like you heard of something and you trust that this brand is good, and that is just like aligned with the quality they provide, how authentic they have been. But I think as we move towards 21st, that authenticity also came about transparency of how you do business. Like, are you treating your employees, your laborers well? Are you exploiting the environment while you are doing the business? And I think some of the governance practices, as I say, laws and regulations also contributed to that. So that rise of intangible value made beyond like just how the morals are not towards the quality of product, but how your morals are towards the community you live in, the environment you live in. And I think as we move forward, I feel like this is gonna get more optimistic. As I just mentioned before that, in my experience, I feel that sustainability field in India, at least, evolved. Lots of youth has been coming here. Maybe they are coming in here as a part of career, but that's a good thing that you're if you do something just as a hobby, there are chances that it might get lost over the years. But it's a positive sign that youth is coming to sustainability as a career, and there is a lesser chance that they will leave it midway because it's related to their career or their own personal finances. So I think the trend of making uh, governments like there are new regulation coming in China. I just heard recently. So this is just gonna like go forward. Everyone has to be accountable for how much they are taking from the environment. In next 3 to 5 years, we just talked about there might be more technology coming in there. And I just see as like it's becoming popular something as engineering. It's gonna be a really cool professional. So I'm hopeful for that.
Thanks for the question, Alejandro. If anyone else has anything else they'd like to add in the chat, we are coming up to about 10 minutes left. So I can ask maybe one or two more questions. Um, so yeah, I guess, you've been in our shoes before of needing to kind of orient and find your career, and you've landed in sustainability. But when you think back on all of your career moves and your choices and coming to America and the diversity that you've experienced, what do you think is the best piece of career advice that you have ever received? And what would you pass on to people that are going to be entering the workforce?
Oh, I'm just going in my head through all the advices received. Uh, Nothing is standing out. I think the niche fields are always categorized as something risky. I like to think opposite that niche fields are more secure career-wise because you don't have competition. So I think advices I always got were more about being practical with the choices, um, and like leaving engineering behind and coming into sustainability was not really a practical choice, but I did engineering for a few years and um, I did not enjoy it that much. And I'm really glad that I made the choices I made because every day now is very satisfactory. It ends in satisfaction that I did something. So I'm not gonna say that the advices which were related to practicality were bad advices. Those people were looking out for me. They wanted me to like be successful, not get lost into something which is not really great. But I think you have to think about what you care about, what makes you feel joyful or nice, or uh, they always say that why not make your passion your career? So not everyone is gonna have that option. It might not be possible. There would be circumstances, but if you have that opportunity, I think you should take it.
Yeah, I really appreciate that insight and also encouraging to kind of take chances and maybe go against the grain a little bit if you know that it aligns with your values and your beliefs, and really at the end of the day, what makes you the most happy.
Yeah,
So
it's
thanks for
about
that.
taking balanced, calculated
Mm.
risk. Like I did supply chain engineering too, so always having that uh, plan B ready. I think that's also important.
Yeah, great. Well, that kind of wraps up the questions that I had. If anyone else has some questions that they'd like to come off of mute or go in the chat to ask, now could be a really great time before we wrap up. And if there's nothing, Rachel, did you have anything else that you'd want to ask or follow up with?
Yeah, well, first, thank you for kind of giving us an overview and presentation and really showing us your journey into corporate sustainability and how that really connected, especially to the courses that you took. I think that was really enlightening for everyone to hear. And I really appreciated that communication was at the center of that because that's what I try to tell students. Communication and like stakeholder management are kind of the two key skills I think in sustainability that you will use throughout your career because it's such an interdisciplinary role and requires you to be able to communicate and understand various stakeholders in order to move different projects forward. Um, Other questions that I have. I guess in your day-to-day role right now, like what is your favorite part of what you do? Because I'm sure there's some days where you're like, okay, all this reporting is getting, like it's great, but maybe it's not that exciting. But I'm curious, just what is your favorite part? And like, what is your favorite thing about Kohler as a company as well?
Yeah, I think my favorite fact about Kohler is it's a manufacturing company. We have this shop floors and plants, and whenever go for site visits, or we also have some manufacturing in Wisconsin, it still feels like little magic to me. Like uh, there is some raw material which is just lying around there, and then you just see this luxurious product coming out, which is like you can use. And at Kohler, there is a high focus on like designs of our products. So it's something like really feels cool to me. Like I know about the processes now. I know like how exactly step by step it happens, but I still feel like a kid in a museum whenever I'm on the shop floor, and we have different type of products too. So I think I don't get to do that a lot. I'm still a data person at the end of the day. I'm still behind computer, but then whenever I get to do the site visit, that's like the most fun part for me personally. And then whenever I see your water ambition getting talked when a water engineer talks about all of our watershed efforts. That's something so I really like. I have known about those facts now, but listening to that over and over, it just gives me the satisfaction that the data I'm working on is making a strategy strong, and the strategy is making impact somewhere in the world, including India, where my people live. And whenever I get to hear that talk, that just makes me like feel nice that the work I'm doing has impact somewhere, even though I'm still behind the computers. I think that's the difference between the job I had in software industry and now that I'm still behind the computer, but the impacts it's making and the purpose it has is it's really uh, two opposite ends.
Amazing. I feel like a little manufacturing field trip is just so underrated these days. When you really see what's behind your products, you're like, wow, that is quite amazing. So I can totally attest to that. And I've also noticed engineers are definitely very attuned to that. So I'm glad that still really excites you. And that's cool to hear that you get to see that plus, do everything else that you're doing. So amazing. No other questions for me. But students, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask Manali. She has successfully gone through NC State's all her courses and now gone into the real world and is really making an impact in her role. So she, has a lot of insight. So if you have any final questions, we'll give you a minute here to either type it in the chat or come off mute. There's not too many of us on here, so feel free to come off mute. I know you have a question, Caravi.
I can also maybe propose kind of a closing question. Where do you see yourself in your career moving forward? Is it, still aligned with kind of the same data focused work? Or what are your next aspiring goals as you continue to move forward?
Okay, interesting question. It's gonna make me think whole night today. Uh, but I feel like I'm still learning. Uh, I did little bit theoretical when I was at NC State. All my practical knowledge started when I started at Kohler mostly. It's been only 2 years here. I have been working on just data. I have been learning every day. And as I said, it's very big team here, and we have been working on lots of things. And I'm just like, I would like to say that one page in the whole global impact report we publish. So there is like this other 60 pages which I don't know much about. So just gonna continue this journey to learn more. This is a fantastic place to learn because, as I said, global presence, lots of product, there's manufacturing, hospitality, so great place to learn. I feel like I was very fortunate to be placed here and work on corporate sustainability. So haven't really given thought and like where do I see myself in 5 years at such very definitive. Just enjoying every day, learning every day, and grateful for my team.
Oh, well, thanks for that answer. They're definitely grateful to have you, I'm sure. And we have been really thankful for your time. I know you're in Wisconsin, but we have all been stuck inside. So having a little conversation like this today was perfect timing and hopefully really insightful for not only myself, but for everyone that's on the call and everyone to watch in the future. So if there's no other comments, I guess just stay on the lookout for our next speaker series. I'm not entirely sure on when that date is going to be, if anyone else wanted to add that. And yeah, this is going to be recorded so we can rewatch it and share with our friends. And Manali, if you are open, maybe people could connect with you on LinkedIn or something like that and continue to connect in the future. But we just want to thank everybody for joining, and I hope that you all have a great rest of your evening.
Yes, thank you everyone for joining, listening to me. I forgot to add my QR code for LinkedIn, but you will easily
Great.
find me through the common contacts. So always feel free to shoot out a message or connect with me.
Awesome.